Hello, how are you doing? It's been a while. It's been a very, very long while because I am incredibly poor at making YouTube content. A bit better on Instagram. I post pretty much daily there. As pretty much everybody who's watching this is going to know. I'd be very surprised if anyone's watching this who doesn't follow me on Instagram. Um, but it's been a while, so I want to get back on this now. In regards to myself, dieting, boring. It's very, very boring. I'll put some photos up, like there. Around here, there'll be some photos of like how I look recently. That was Monday. Today's Friday, so that's most recently how I looked. That was like £208. Probably gonna be a bit lighter next time I check in on Monday. Literally just trying to get a bit. I say trying to get leaner, getting leaner, so that I can go back into a push-up. This could be my longest time away from stage since I like first competed. Because I'm actually not competing year on year on all the fucking time now. So next year when I do compete, if it is next year or the year after, should be a good amount of improvements. I don't really want to diet. I fucking hate dieting when there's no like actual goal for it. It's boring. I want to grow. I'm itching to grow. Just need a little bit more to come off before I'm like primed and like in a really, really good position to then not have to worry about dieting before I next drop the hammer and go into prep really. So that's the update on me. Hope everyone enjoyed. However, I can tell from the title of this video, I want to make this video a bit shorter, not like usual, 15, 20 minutes long. But basically giving you a bit more of like an insight to my job, really. Because believe it or not, my job is not just posing in my fucking thong, which is way too small for me at the moment because I'm fat. It's actually coaching. So I wanted to go through a bit of like a client transformation. So about just over 3 months ago now, I ran a 12-week challenge. Had a good amount of people come on. Fucking brilliant. Winner's now been decided. We did a second place in the first place, but today I'm going to run for the first place. And it's not the usual sort of like bodybuilding transformation that you'll see. As much as I do coach predominantly bodybuilders, a lot of my clients are still usual fat loss, muscle gain. And my client Kai pulled off a ridiculous 20 kilos in 12 weeks. Just fucking mental. Usually you see like 12 kilos in 12 weeks, and that's really good. But to pretty much double that, it's fucking mental. And I wanted to make a video basically going through that for anyone who's in a sort of similar position. So what you'll see on screen here, basically where my hand is like the before and afters. Have we still got body fat to come off? Yes, 100%. Obviously Kai's going to be staying on, as everyone is with the 12-week challenge. And we're not changing anything, we're just cracking on. We've got goals set in place to obviously get towards the 100 kilo mark and ideally a bit lighter than that as well. We've also got dates in mind for where we want to sort of be there. But I sort of want to just plan out like what we sort of did. Now, throughout the whole 12 weeks, we made 2 changes. It's literally it from the initial plan. And it wasn't a case where he's eating absolutely fuck all food. It was a case where we understood where his issues were beforehand. I think that's something which is really, really important for anybody in a sort of similar position, is understanding where you're going wrong in any sense of physique development, whether you're underweight, overweight, if you're wanting to prep and you haven't been able to diet properly beforehand. Understand where you go wrong first, understand where that issue is, and do your best to eliminate that issue. So the first thing with Kai is that we wanted to make sure there's a good amount of consistency in his day-to-day routine. So we nailed down his food. We set up his food to make sure that it's easy for him to eat and it's not something he doesn't enjoy. There's absolutely no point, whatever phase you're in setting yourself food that you're not going to enjoy. Obviously, if it comes to a point where your food's fuck all, you're probably not going to love it, but it's needed for a certain goal, right? So we set food accordingly to what he enjoys. Didn't have fuck all food. I'm pretty sure his food was like 2,300 calories on a training day when we started. It's not that much far off now. And since then, we literally just implemented cardio every single day, a step count every single day, and obviously a target for that every single day. Because what I see a lot of people struggle with when they're in that sort of position. It's just moving more. Food might not even be ridiculously high all the time, but it's just output, which needs to be worked upon. So we worked upon output, and that was our main avenue for fat loss, is making sure we are moving as much as we could. And not as much as we could. Cardio is not even that high even now, but it's daily. Make sure there's a consistent level of output. And I literally just said, do this post-workout. So you don't have to worry about it later in the day. He wakes up really early anyway because he's got to travel for work. So he trains first thing in the morning. So what I always say then is just get your cardio done post-workout. Done. Cardio's done. Training session's done. Steps, he's got a very demanding job anyway, so he gets his steps ticked off nicely. That takes care of that without even having to think. Lovely. So from then, we made one change, literally one change, because things were beginning to stall. Did we even need to make it? No, there was potentially some reasons why that was happening anyway. So we didn't maybe not even need to make that change. But instead of like reverting back up, we said, right, let's just ride this wave for a little bit. The rate of loss is absolutely mint. Training progressions are absolutely fantastic, and rate of loss was literally between 1.5 to 2 kilos per week. Absolutely lovely. As with anyone that was on the 12-week challenge, we checked in twice a week just to make sure that everything was running smoothly, which it was. Every single check-in was, yeah, everything's lovely. And we'll just crack on. The reason why that's so important, however, with people in this position is to keep them accountable. Me and Kai get on like a fucking house on fire. But something I said from the get-go is, I'm going to be on you like a rash. I want to make sure that everything's done. I want check-ins to be over on time. And to be fair, they're more than on time. He wakes up like 3 a.m. I don't wake up at 3 a.m. But he's got his feedback by 10, 11 at the very latest. So from then, we literally kept him accountable, kept things ticking over. Pretty much new lows daily. We understood that his body weight has a tendency to hold or spike after a leg day, which a lot of people do anyway. So when he was a bit stressed about that, set his mind at ease and cracked on. New low, came new low, came new low. We then made one further change about 10 weeks into the program, where body weight was again beginning to stall, but we had rinsed it for a fair bit of time. The rate of loss had gradually slowed down, but I was like, there's no point in making a change right now because all it's going to mean is that we have less tools to play around with however many weeks down the line. Obviously, as times go on, food's going to become lower, cardio's going to become higher. We're most likely still not going to be exactly where we want to end the diet by that point. So this is where with any long-term fat loss phase, we break it up into stages. We don't just view the whole fat loss as one stint of dieting, because you'll have fuck all tools available. Your training performance will go to shit, and that's the goal within any phase, right? Is to keep training output and training performance really, really high. So again, as much as this hasn't happened yet, this is what we're going to be doing when that does come to a point. This won't be anytime soon. We've still got absolutely plenty of changes. When I say we make a change, it's literally 100 calorie change. That is it. That's all we need to do to keep things ticking over, and maybe a touch more cardio, like 5 minutes a day. Not really noticeable. So with any long-term fat loss phase, if you feel that you've got not really much tools left available, food's a lot lower, rest days are like 0 carb, you pull down from 5 meals to 4, essentially to 3, still not much room there. That's when you then go into a little bit of a diet break. So you don't look upon putting off any more body fat. You just see where you can allow calories to rise up to, where you can drop down expenditure to and just hold body weight. So for example, if that's someone who's 110 kilos, for example, when Kai's at, let's say 110 kilos, if that's where we've got no more tools left available, we're not going to continue battering for that point. It's not going to bring out any more fat loss, realistically. That's where we'll hold 3 to 4 weeks, bring his food up to maintenance, allow his body weight to just stay around the same sort of area, drop off of cardio. When we are then nice and fresh, we then re-enter the deficit, but we've now got pretty much all of our tools left available. So we can re-enter the diet, bring cardio back in, drop food when needed. And that's how to execute a long-term fat loss phase. Obviously, it's very, very person dependent. This is a very, very prime example of what things can be done when they're absolutely nailed. Not everyone's going to nail everything. However, I want this to highlight what can definitely be done in a shorter time period than a lot of people think. I think people think when they've got a long-term fat loss phase, when they've got a lot to pull off, it's impossible to do. It's not going to happen. It can. All it means is that you need to make that change, more so mentally, in terms of I need to actually move. I need to actually stick to something. When you do, you will see results. Absolutely flat out. Now, if you're in a similar position, you're spinning your wheels, you've been stuck in the same position for a very, very long time, and you do want to make the change, in the description below will be a link to my coaching. Drop me a message on there. We'll have a chat about where you're going wrong and how I can help. If you're still on the fence or anything like that, jump on a call. We can run through exactly how we're going to be doing things, just to set your mind at ease and get cracking. I'll leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed a bit of a different sort of video. If anyone's got any questions, if you're in a similar position, or if you're a coach and you've got clients in a similar position, drop me a message. I'm more than happy to help. My Instagram's down below. Just DM me. Takes like 2 seconds. WhatsApp's there as well. Message me. Takes fucking like a couple of seconds. Absolutely sound. I'll leave it there. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, share. Story time would be fucking lovely. I'll see you soon.